Sleep Token might be the best storytellers in modern heavy music today. In my last video, I explained why storytelling is so powerful and why I believe it's the main reason Sleep Token have become one of the biggest bands in the genre. I'll link that video up here. But that leaves us with the how. How do Sleep Token actually do this in a real song? And how can we use it in our own music? What's up everyone, I'm Eric Gerber and I help modern guitarists write and finish better songs more often. In this video, we're going to break down one of Sleep Token's biggest tracks, The Summoning, and see exactly how they use storytelling inside the music to create that emotional impact. By the end of this video, you'll see why that weird funk section at the end isn't just random genre whiplash. It's actually a key turning point in the entire song. Strategic, intentional, and central to the story. Let's start by recapping the 4 story elements of music. The lyrics is the most direct way the story is told. The instrumentation or musical composition supports the story and emotional message with all its elements: rhythm, chords, harmony, production, etc. This is also called prosody. The backstory gives context. Who is the artist? Where do they come from? What were they going through when writing the song? How does it have more impact coming from them and not someone else? The visuals reinforce the narrative and sometimes fill in the gaps by saying via implication what the lyrics don't spell out. Things like album art, music video, clothes and makeup, and body language all send a message that can either reinforce the story or confuse it. The more effectively the story is communicated through these 4 channels, the more emotional impact the song will have. So how exactly do these 4 elements work together in The Summoning? Let's find out. Story analysis, The Summoning. Lyrics. For this part, I asked my good friend Greg VK for his expertise. I'll hand you over to him.
Hey, my name's Greg VK. I'm a freelance singer-songwriter obsessed with lyrics. And here's my analysis of Sleep Token's The Summoning. It's a really interesting song with a dual message and layers of subtext, which I totally missed until doing this analysis. To start, the lyrics are cryptic by design. Religious cults use jargon to exclude outsiders, which in turn makes their members feel like insiders. These lyrics don't use jargon, but without knowing about Sleep Token's fictional god, Sleep, it would be impossible to grasp the song's full meaning, which reinforces the band's cult image. The lyrics function as a dual narrative. In one sense, the singer is praying to his god, Sleep. He's declaring his love and begging for a mystical experience where he'll see the other side. In another sense, he wants some ass. A woman he slept with doesn't want him anymore, and he's fallen hard. He wants to know why her feelings have changed. The dual narrative works because the horny, desperate interpretation is only revealed in the song's second half. In Act 1, the obvious context is religion. In Act 2, he's clearly talking to a woman. That's why the verse and pre-chorus from Act 1 are repeated. Once you hear that funk bridge, you can interpret the cultist's worship as a man begging to get laid. Either way, he comes off as desperate. Rejected by his god/woman, he believes his devotion should be enough to win their favor.
Instrumentation, prosody. Now let's zoom into the lyrics through that lens and also see how the music reinforces the story section by section. Act 1, verse.
I've got a river running right into you. I've got a blood trail red in the blue. Something you say or something you do. A taste of the divine. He's praying to sleep, saying he's found a symbolic blood trail that'll lead him back to his God.
The instruments are filled with anticipation and expectation. From the muted guitars, tightly closed hi-hats, to the slightly disruptive rhythmic meters, we get a sense of unease and restrained emotion.
Something you say or something you do, a taste of the divine.
Pre-chorus.
You've got my body, flesh and bone, yeah. The sky above, the earth below. He's expressing his devotion. His God owns him.
The guitars switch to open, longer sustained notes, and the drums switch to a ride cymbal and crashes. The root note also moves lower, and the ambient pads become louder. All this together gives a feeling of release or surrender, of letting go.
You've got my body, flesh and bone, yeah. The sky above.
Chorus.
Raise me up again. Take me past the edge. I want to see the other side. See the other side. He's asking his God for a mystical experience, one which he's tasted but can't get back to on his own.
The angelic chorus melody, uplifting chord progression, and big ambient pads express a feeling of bliss or ecstasy. It doesn't feel like it depicts a longing or craving like the lyrics alone would suggest, but rather in the context of the music, it feels like he's remembering his divine encounter from before and reliving it in this moment. This is a good example of using music as subtext. Breakdown. See the other side. It's just a one-liner. In terms of instruments, it's a slow, heavy as fuck breakdown. The anger and frustration combined with the lyrics feels like he's throwing a tantrum. Pre-chorus.
You've got my body, flesh and bone, the sky above, the earth below. After asking to be raised up, he reasserts his devotion, this time with a menacing delivery. He thinks he deserves this experience. And he's angry. He's angry that he's been cast out by his God.
With the tightly muted guitars and whispering vocals, we once again have a feeling of restrained emotion, an underlying held-back anger.
Flesh and bone, the sky above, the earth below.
Guitar solo. The guitar solo section that follows feels like a melodramatic despair. With a chorus modulation effect on the guitar, along with the dramatic piano chords, I can almost picture a scene where Vessel dramatically clears off the table, drops to his knees, tilts his head back, and cries out. Chorus 2.
Raise me up again. Take me past the edge. I want to see the other side. Won't you show me what it's like? Won't you show me what it's like? At this point, he's begging. And there's desperation in both the repetition of the final line and the aggressive delivery.
The chorus instrumentation continues, still giving us that angelic, ecstatic feeling, like he's so close he can almost taste the divine experience. I think here the prosody could be a bit stronger though, depicting more desperation instead of just blissful release like the chorus, but it's not far off.
Won't you show me what it's
Synth interlude. The band drops out completely, leaving just the sustained pad and what sounds like a distant atmospheric vocal. It runs for about a minute and a half, with a piano and a subtle rhythmic synth entering halfway through. Its main function is to separate the two acts, creating a sense of time passing and a shift in mental state. Emotionally, it feels like a release. It could represent the mystical experience he's been begging for, or simply just a moment of clarity. Either way, the aggression and tension from earlier sections disappear and is replaced by something more disarmed, subdued, and introspective. Act 2, Funk Bridge.
Did I mistake you for a sign from God?
Oh, and my love, did I mistake you for a sign from God? Are you really here to cast me off? Or maybe just to turn me on? Because these days I'd be lying if I told you that I didn't wish I could be your man. Or maybe make a good girl bad. This is the big reveal. He's talking to a woman. The lyrics are kind of cringy, and I think it's by design. As a cultist, our character is clearly unstable, and that bleeds into how he thinks about this woman. He feels like he deserves her. He's an incel.
Suddenly, this weird genre change makes total sense. In this context, it doesn't feel just like a random impulsive musical choice. It feels very deliberate. The slow drum groove and the envelope filter on the bass give us an awkwardly sensual feeling, and also very cheeky or light-hearted, especially compared to the rest of the song. I think the music depicts exactly what the story is going for here.
Are you really into cut me off? Or maybe just
Verse repeat over funk bridge.
I've got a river running right into you. I've got a blood trail, red in the blue. Something you say or something you do. The taste of the divine. Now he reveals the true dark nature of the verse. The blood trail metaphor takes on a sinister tone. It's like she's a wounded animal or something and he's a predator following her scent.
The instrumentation stays the same, but with the addition of the cheesy pentatonic lead guitar line, further emphasizing the same feeling as before. Pre-chorus repeat over funk bridge.
You've got my body, flesh and bone, the sky above, the earth below. Nothing to say and nowhere to go, a taste of the divine. These lines, repeated from Act 1, now assert his devotion to this woman, as a justification for why she should sleep with him again.
The synth pad that comes in here ups the emotional intensity, and its slightly unstable chord voicing communicates a sense of, I'm not yet satisfied.
This song isn't a narrative, it's a character portrait, using the devoted cultist as a metaphor for a desperate man. The cult symbolism ties the lyrics to Sleep Token's brand and makes the song feel like it's a scene in a film, the film being Sleep Token itself. That's my analysis, but if you have a different take, let us know down in the comments. Thanks for having me, Eric. Cheers, guys.
If you liked Greg's lyric analysis and want to check out his work, I'll add a link to his website in the description. Backstory. As Greg explained, it's impossible to grasp the lyrics' full meaning without knowing who the band are and what they stand for. But when you do, the lyrics hit even harder and you feel more connected to the band. That's the power of backstory. Sleep Token don't have a public, personal history to draw from. No tabloid narratives, no documented heartbreaks, no visible personalities. So the emotional context of the lyrics doesn't come from real-life transparency. It comes from the world they've built through their fictional lore. And that changes how we hear the song. Imagine, I don't know, Justin Bieber singing the same lyrics. Knowing his public persona, the exact same words wouldn't just land differently, they'd feel off. Maybe even uncomfortable, because who is telling the story affects how we interpret the story. Visuals. If we look at the music video, almost nothing happens. There's no storyline, no performance shots, just a lone, masked, sci-fi, medieval-looking figure in a dark space while the camera slowly rotates around him. And that restraint is intentional. The slow orbit makes him feel observed, like a ritual offering under examination. It reinforces the cult symbolism and keeps the focus on his internal state rather than external action. This isn't a story about events, it's a character study, just like Greg explained. Then, approaching the funk bridge, lasers suddenly start cutting through the darkness. Visually, it feels like exposure. Like the illusion is being interrogated, the sacred atmosphere gives way to something more human, more awkward, more revealing. But he never removes the mask, which means the ambiguity remains. The visuals don't explain the song, they preserve the mystique while amplifying the emotional isolation. Everything visually aligns with the character portrait Greg described. Conclusion. So when we zoom out and look at the summoning as a whole, something becomes very clear. The lyrics, the music, the band's lore, and even the visuals are all pointing in the same direction. They're all reinforcing the same character, and the emotional impact multiplies. And that's something Sleep Token do incredibly well. Like I said in my previous video, they don't just write songs, they build worlds. I hope this has given you a stronger understanding of how you can use effective songwriting in your own music too. If you want your songs to connect more deeply with listeners, thinking about storytelling in this way can make a huge difference. I've also made a worksheet inside my Song Finisher Roadmap that guides you through the process step by step, from defining the narrative to aligning it with the music. You can grab that for free in the description. So we've gone from concept to seeing it in practice, but there's still one more layer, the music itself, the chords, the melodies, the rhythms, the production, etc. The detailed musical decisions that bring that story to life. And that's what I'm going to break down in my next video. Thank you for watching. Drop a comment and tell me what your main takeaway was from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.